Hello, Professor. I am Varsha Kamath. Along with my colleagues Jatin Srinivas and Kshitij Yelpale, together we are going to present the blockchain solution to healthcare record system using Hyperledger Fabric. Nowadays, receiving the healthcare services from various hospitals and clinics have become very common due to the predominant increase in the specialization in the healthcare services, and also due to people moving to different cities and countries. There might be a need for them to receive the medical attention. Doctors with the patient's medical history can make a precise diagnosis as well as provide proper treatment for them at the right time. The major problem that is faced by the healthcare service providers right now is basically sharing the clinical data and ensuring data security, data integrity, confidentiality of the data, as well as maintaining the privacy of the patients at the same time. Coming to electronic health records, EHR is basically used by many healthcare providers across the world. EHR is basically a digital version of the patient's medical records. EHR is used to share the patient's medical records across different healthcare providers. EHR consists of medical information of the patient in the form of electronic medical records or EMR, information about patients' medical diagnosis or patients' medical history, allergies, treatment, and reports are basically stored in EMR. There are various healthcare IT standards used, and the most popular ones are HL7 or Health Level 7 and FHIR. These are basically used to transfer the clinical data across different software applications used by different healthcare providers. The other models used by the healthcare providers other than the EHR are push, pull, and view.
So this slide explains as to why we have used blockchain for the healthcare industry. So as we all are aware until now, so blockchain provides a secure distributed database. So where all the queries done to the database are secure. So by the usage of CAs, MSPs, and smart contracts, this data security and privacy is achieved in the blockchain. So in the medical industry, the storing of personal details, the sharing of personal details is an integral part of healthcare systems. However, sharing personal details among various participants through unsecure means can lead to leakage of information. Also, in the current systems of the EHR or the EMR, there is a lack of client control over their own personal details. So, and the most critical issue in these systems is they do not maintain the interoperability among various involved identities. So we can see that the existing systems has a clear lack of data management and sharing mechanisms as well. So there is definitely a clear need in which a clear need a clear need of a way of a distributed way to store and share the personal details where patients can be sure about the security and privacy, and also can control how their own data needs to be accessed in the network.
Blockchain is a decentralized distributed ledger on a peer-to-peer network that consists of a list of chronologically arranged blocks. So the first block is called as the Genesis block, and the block before any given block is called as the parent block. So the block basically consists of two parts, header and body. The block header consists of version, which basically specifies the block validation rules. The hash of the previous block basically ensures that the if any changes are made in the previous block, then the changes will be done also in the current block header. Timestamp is basically the creation of time of the block. Merkle root is obtained by the hash of all the transactions in that particular block. Nuance is a 4-bit unique number which is used only once in the communication. Coming to the core components of the blockchain, the first is the node or a peer. Node is basically a device or a computer in a blockchain network that contains a copy of all the transactions. Transactions is basically the exchange of the information between the two blockchain addresses. Block is a group of transactions. Suppose if you want to add a new block into the blockchain, then a certain block verification process needs to be done by specific nodes, and those are done by miners. Consensus basically is a agreement reached by all the peers in the blockchain network on any transaction in the network. So basically, there are two major types of blockchain. One is public blockchain, another one is private blockchain. Public blockchain is also called as permissionless blockchain. Here, everyone can access the public blockchain and can basically participate in all the transactions. Public blockchain is also fully decentralized. That means there is no central authority, and all the peers in the network have equal authority. The examples of public blockchain are Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Coming to the private blockchain, they are also called as permissioned blockchain. There are restrictions on who can join the network and who can participate in the transactions. These are basically used by the organizations and the companies for their internal usage. Private blockchains are centralized, which means the organization has the full authority over the network. The example of private blockchain is Hyperledger Fabric.
Now, to implement the blockchain solution for the EHR system, we'll map some components with the EHR systems. So the organizations in the Fabric component are the hospitals in the real world. So all the hospitals are connected on the same channel. And suppose some hospitals wants to connect or maintain some another form of data like cancer data, so they will form a new channel. The new hospitals will be connected on this existing channel only after approving the hospitals which are configured in the channel configurations. The patient data will be treated as assets in Fabric. All the data will be stored into the blockchain database. Fabric framework provides Gate History API, which will be used to retrieve the patient data and will be shown to the doctor, so that to take the proper understanding of the patient's condition. Now we will discuss why blockchain and Fabric. Blockchain stores data cryptographically secure, which solves the problem of security of data. And Fabric provides CA and MSP components, which will be discussed further in the demonstration, but they provide the secure identities for the users, which are connected to the network. So which solves the problem of authentication and authorization. Fabric is a permission blockchain, so the data remains confidential for the outside world. It comes with a distributed nature, so availability is solved. The blockchain records are immutable. That's why the data integrity problem has been solved. The Fabric provides the consensus algorithm. The name is practical Byzantine fault tolerance, which also solves the problem of 51% nodes get hacked, which we can see in the Bitcoin, because all the approval from all the peers, which is by default required, which can be configured in the channel configurations as well, or a consortium. The scalability has no problem, because n number of organization peers and users can be applied here in the network. All the modules are pluggable. We can use the different database, as well as the Fabric SDK is available in different programming languages like Go, Java, JavaScript, TypeScript. Now we will discuss about the use cases of the solution. There are three type of users which are connected to the network: admin, patient, and doctor. Admin's use cases are really simple. It will create only the patient with some patient personal and medical details, create doctor, and view the list of patients with limited fields. The Patient can view only self details, all fields, can able to edit only the personal details, can able to list the doctors which are available from all the hospitals, can able to give the permission to a doctor, as well as revoke the permission from that doctor whenever he wants, and view the history of its own data. For doctor as well, he can see the own details, as well as the able to view the list of patients who gave the access to the same doctor, can able to edit the medical details, and also view the patient history. Now we will discuss about the architecture. The architecture is really simple. The network has been established by the blockchain operator, and all the peers in the organizations are the Docker running containers. And the the network, to connect the network, the Fabric SDK is being used, which is written in multiple languages, but we are using JavaScript. And with that, we are using the Node.js server to handle the backend routes. The user interface is developed in the Angular 11, and the Redis is a key value pair database which is used for to store the doctor credentials. So just a username and password. In the network, the order organization initiates the blockchain. It means it creates the first block in the blockchain, which is called as a Genesis block. Other two organizations, which are like Hospital 1 and Hospital 2, comes together and form a channel. We are using the name as Hospital channel, which is the only channel in our simple network. And it is connected through the hospital channel configuration. So in this case, it is shown in the figure that Hospital 3 is a additional organization. So if Hospital 3 wants to connect to this channel, Hospital 1 and Hospital 2 needs to give an approval. Every hospital has peers, and on peers there are one ledger and smart contract. The ledger is a combination of world state and the transaction log. So, and the world state, we are using the CouchDB. And smart contract, for that you can see that it's a main business logic. So we are using the three smart contracts: admin smart contract, patient, and doctor smart contract, which is deployed on every peer. Yeah.
So now we will discuss the activity diagram. So as you can see on the screen, the activity diagram looks quite simple and straightforward. So we were able to ensure that it doesn't change from the user perspective. So this diagram specifies how a patient is created. So the first step would be the patient goes to any one of the hospitals and reaches out to the admin and then provides the necessary details. So now the admin will invoke the create patient API. So now under the hood, there are several steps that's happening here. So the first step would be, the admin will connect to the network. So once admin is successfully connected to the network, the first thing that admin does is, the Fabric SDK does is, it adds the patient as an identity to the network. So this is when a certificate is generated for the patient, and then this certificate is stored to the wallet. So now this patient can be trusted in the network. So, and then again, the Fabric SDK will invoke the admin smart contract. So now during this transaction will be signed by the admin certificate, and then a patient object is added to the ledger, and this transaction is sent to all the endorsing peers. So after all this, so then it goes to order and so on. So once this is completed, a temporary password is then provided to the patient so that the patient can log in later on. So now in the next slide, we will talk about how a doctor is created. So there is only a very small difference here. So the patient is both an identity and as well as an asset in the ledger, whereas a doctor is just an identity. So in similar fashion here as well, on create doctor API, the admin connects to the network. The doctor is added as an identity to the network. A certificate is generated for the doctor, and then this certificate is stored to the wallet, and the credentials of the doctor are given back to the doctor. Now we will talk about one of the security mechanisms, that is the private collections. So Hyperledger Fabric provides really good and a secure feature, that is the private collections. So in our scenario, although all the identities in the network can be trusted, but a patient may not like it if the patient's data is being stored on the peers in hospitals that the patient does not visit. So we came up with a solution to resolve this as well. So it goes like this. So we initially create n factorial plus one number of private collections, where n being the number of hospitals. So for instance, if there are, and we create private collections for each combination. So for instance, if there are three hospitals, so we create a private collection for each combination. That is, so there would be one collection just for hospital one collection just for hospital two. So for instance, in hospital 2 private collection, this collection would contain data that is particularly private for only hospital 2. And there would be another collection named hospital 1, 2 private collection. So in this collection, data of both hospital 1 and 2 will be stored here. So private to 1 and 2. And finally, hospital 1, 2, 3 private collection. So this is the collection where all the three hospitals are shared, and this is but private to these three hospitals. So when a patient first time visits one of the hospitals, for instance, the patient visits hospital one. So now the patient's asset is stored in hospital one private collection. Now let's imagine if suppose if the same patient is granting access to a doctor of hospital two as well. So now this data will be removed from hospital one private collection and moved to hospital one two private collection. So once it is moved, so now both hospitals have access to this patient records. And similarly way for revoke as well. So how private collection works is that, so the data is again as in similar fashion being distributed on all the peers and stored everywhere, but the private collection that suppose hospital one, the hospital two private collection will be hashed and stored. So it is maintaining the distributed database, but it is making sure that only the private collection that has been authorized, only that hospital will be able to read the data. Rest all will be hashed and stored.
So now we will see the second security mechanism, which is data re-encryption. Generally, we all know that the data encryption has been done with the two methods, symmetric key and asymmetric key. In the asymmetric key, the person's private and public key has been used. So in the given scenario, we can say that you can see the suppose person A wants to send his own file, which is encrypted with the public key and stored into the cloud. And in normal case, person A will download the file, encrypt with the person B's public key, and then send it to person B, which is not always a good case, because it's never the case that the file is in small in size. It can be in gigabytes or terabytes or something. So re-encryption will help here. What person A will do in this case, he will create the re-encryption key using some random key generator. It's a combination of the private key of person A is own and the public key of the person B, and provide this re-encrypted key to the person B, and person B will use this re-encrypted key to re-encrypt the file which is there in the cloud. That's why it is called the re-encrypted key, because the re-encryption is happening, and after that the person B will decrypt the file its own private key, and that's how actually it's work, and it's very simple. And the same scenario we will going to apply. Whenever the patient gives the access to doctor, the doctor will use the re-encryption key. Okay, so if we are using the re-encryption security mechanism, then the patient record will look something like this. So here we can see that all the few data will not be encrypted, but all the remaining data like address, phone number, or the medical records will be encrypted with some random generated number, which we are calling as a symmetric key. So here it is stored in the data, and now you can see that the symmetric key is now will be encrypted using the re-encryption mechanism. So how it is work? So the symmetric key is stored into the record itself, and it's encrypted with the patient's public key. Now if a patient wants to give this access to some doctor. At that time, the re-encrypted key has been generated using the doctor's public key and the patient's private key, and it's assigned here in the permission granted. So doctor ID re-encrypted key for doctor 1, because this patient has provided access to this doctor 1. That's why it is there. And whenever doctor A wants to read this data, what he can do, this is all done in the application in background, but then doctor 1 will use this re-encrypted key, will re-encrypt this symmetrically, decrypt with its own private key, and then at the end we will get the symmetric key, and then it is used for the decrypting the data, and that's how it works. So to install the project, there are some prerequisites that needs to be installed. So this is the official documentation of the Fabric framework, and so Git, curl, docker compose, go should be installed before. After that, execute this curl command so that the Fabric sample folder will get downloaded, and the Hyperledger Docker images will be also get downloaded. After that, clone our repository, and after cloning it, copy this binary bin folder, which is platform specific, to our app folder. After that, in the client, you can see all the Angular related files for the front end. For the backend server, we have developed with the Express.js the backend routes. So here are the files. After that, patient asset transfer, the people who know already about the Fabric framework, they will get to know the chain code and application JavaScript. So here are some code about libraries, and this is the chain code where we have implemented the contracts, and this is some initial ledger data which is in this format. After that, the very important folder is the first network, where we have this additional hospital 3, which is a pluggable, you can see that. Then after that, docker images file, docker compose files. After that, the deploy cc and network sh are very important files, which will be further explained by my colleagues. And this is very important folder, config. Here in the config tx file, you can see that the policies or consumption policies can be defined here. The anchor peer is also defined here as per this host. This seems to be hospital 1's peer 1. After that, by default, solo orderer is being used here, and these are the profiles. Whatever the ordering mechanism we use, those profiles will be applied.
All right. So now let's bring the blockchain network up. So I have my Docker Compose up and running, and I'm on the first network. I'll go ahead and execute the command up, create channel. So by the time this completes, I'll just a small walkthrough to the code. So we have made some default changes here. So as of now, we have defined the default channel name. For instance, where is it? I defined a default channel name. We also made sure that we'll be using CS itself. We are not using the CryptoGen tool, and certain other defaults. We'll be using the CouchDB, etc. So when I run network.up, so what is happening is the first step is it creates, so on network up, first thing is called as the create-aux. So in create-aux, so basically the crypto material that is generated. So as you can see here for hospital 1, the MSP files and all the other certificates for each hospital is generated. So now this makes sure that the hospital 1 can now be trusted. So I also ran the create channel parameter. So on create channel parameter, so it, one moment, the function is somewhere down below. Yeah. So it creates a channel Genesis block. So this is based on a profile that we have defined in one of the YAML files, so which defines the members of the network. So So let's wait until the network is up and running. So all these networks will be brought up onto the Docker. So a Docker, if you see the Docker as of now, we will find hopefully, yeah. So we will find that a network is up and running. So we see that we have bought 3 Fabric CS servers. So that is 2 for the hospital, 1 for the orderer as well. And you can see the CouchDB up and running. And also each hospital as of now, we have just defined 1 peer. So each hospital, so there is 2 peers for 1 peer for each hospital. So now, as you can see, now the network is up and running, and as well as the channel is being created. So now that the channel is up and running for 2 hospitals, we were also able to achieve addition of the 3rd hospital to our network. So now our application works on 3 hospitals. So now let me go ahead and do the same thing here as to hospital 3 as well. So what does this script does is there is a separate script for addition of hospital 3. So what happens here is, so first the crypto material and MSP folders for hospital 3 are also generated. Then all the nodes for the hospital 3 are brought up, and then the config file for the hospital 3 is generated, and all this components is been all the crypto material is added to these components, and then finally hospital 3 is added to the hospital channel. That's the default channel as well. In case if I had deployed a chain code for hospital 1 and 2, so the same chain code would be deployed to hospital 3 as well. But as of now, there is no chain code deployed, so it just brings up the hospital 3 and joins the hospital 3 to the existing channel. So now what we're able to achieve is there is one single channel. There are 3 hospitals in the single channel, and each hospital has one single peer. And now there are total of 4 Fabric CS servers. So this is what we can see in the Docker as well.
By executing the deploy cc command, all the smart contracts are packaged into the chain code, and the chain code is installed on all the peers, and chain code is also deployed on the channel. Now that the chain code is basically successfully deployed on the channel, let me just describe about the smart contracts. Basically, we have divided the smart contract based on the role, like patient smart contract, admin smart contract, as well as doctor smart contract. Patient smart contract basically consists of read patient, update personal details method, as well as grant and revoke access method. Coming to the admin smart contract consists of read patient, delete patient, as well as create patient. And coming to the doctor smart contract consists of update medical details and get patient history. Let me just show you the smart contract in our project. Basically, to access any method in the smart contract, you need to pass the context as well as the patient ID as the parameter. Another important method in all the 3 smart contracts are fetch limited fields. Here we are filtering the fields which are visible to the user based on their role. As this is a patient smart contract, patient is able to view all his details. Coming to the doctor smart contract, doctor can just view the patient's medical details as well as his first name and last name. Coming to the admin smart contract, admin can just view the patient's first name, last name.
Right. As of now, we have our network up and running. We also deployed the chain code as well. So now let's bring up the Fabric SDK. So the file that you see on the screen now, this is our Express.js, that is the backend server. So this file is, so we're using JWT, JWT token for authentication, and there are various routes that is used by the front end. So this is just a backend server. So this backend server then internally calls the Fabric SDK to interact with the network. So you can see the Fabric SDK provides various APIs, so such as connect to network and then invoke. So invoke function is something that creates a transaction to the ledger. So submit transaction is when suppose there's any changes to be made, whereas evaluate is something just to be retrieved from a world state, and a gateway. So a gateway is a really important aspect of the Fabric SDK. It's the a link between the Fabric SDK and the blockchain network. So all the transactions are sent to the Fabric network via this gateway. So the gateway is necessary because this is where each transaction is being signed by the user's certificate, so that in the network it can be verified and then endorsed and etc. So now let me go ahead and bring up the backend server. So when I run this command, so there are a few things happening here. So first we would define such, so this is some of the initial doctors. So when the application is up, we do not want some empty. So we are just creating some uh, uh, a data here. So as you can see, so these are the hospitals that will be, sorry, these are the doctors that will be created. And this is the init ledger JSON. So this again, the smart contract is invoked, and then all this patient's data is being added to the ledger. And as explained, a patient is also an identity as well. So let me go ahead and, so as we can see in the wallet here, so first thing is the admin is enrolled and registered, and then the doctors are created, and then the patient is created. So as you can see in the wallet, all the certificates for all the users that is being created has been generated in the wallet. So if I open any one particular open now, as you can see that this is the certificate using which each transaction is signed, so that a transaction can be verified. Okay, we also use the Fabric CA server. So as you can see in the log file here, we create a client for the servers. So this client can access now the server, the Fabric CA server. So the server provides APIs using which one can register and enroll the users. So that is a very useful API. So that is the one that we are using to enroll and register user. So now there are certain number of doctors and certain numbers of patients, and the backend server is up and running. All right. So now we have the backend server and front-end server up and running. So this is how the application looks like. So the user can choose his or her role and choose the hospital and enter the credentials to log in. So now let's start with admin. So admin 1 is trying to log in. So admin enters his credentials. So login. So as soon as the admin logs in, you can see that the list of patients has been retrieved. So it just looks like a list of patients, but in the under the hood, so the admin smart contract has been invoked. So there, all the patients in the ledger has been retrieved. So a new transaction is created, and using which the data in the world state has been retrieved and shown in the front end. So as you can see, the admin just has the enough permissions to just read the first name and last name. And as explained earlier, there is this fetch limited number of fields that we have implemented. So in this admin smart contract, we are making sure that we are blocking rest of the information, and so that the admin just has access to the first name and last name of the patients. And now the admin has even the functionalities that the admin can create a patient and a doctor as well. So let's go ahead with creating a patient. So when creating a patient, we enter the details. So now that the patient object has been created, so on save, so as we explained before, so patient is a identity and as well as a asset in the ledger. So on save, it would create an entry in the wallet and as well as add this patient to the ledger as well. So on save, a patient temporary password is provided, using which the patient should log in for the first time. So let me just copy that, and now as you can see here in the logs, as you can see, first the admin he'll be successfully connected to the network. So admin first connects to the network, and then there is a invocation to the admin smart contract. And when during the creation, you can see that a log message is successfully enrolled the patient and as well as imported to the wallet as well. So, and the PID6 is created. So as we can see here, so the wallet contains PID6. So this wallet will contain the certificate of PID6. So now the patient PID6 is authorized and is a trusted entity in the network. So now that the patient is created, so again, as you can see here, the list of patients has been updated. So there is again another transaction created to the ledger which retrieves all the list of the patients and is displayed on the front screen. So now let's go ahead with creation of a doctor as well. So we enter doctor name and as well as we give the hospital name as well. We enter the details. So again, so doctor is just an identity. So here there is no invocation of any smart contract. The admin just connects the network and identity is created in the network. Identity created in the sense a certificate is generated for the doctor as well. So on creation, let's again check the wallet. So as you can see here, a wallet for hospital 1 doctor 10 has been created. So again, as you can see, this is the data that is used for connecting to the network, the admin certificate. So these are the functionalities for the admin. So admin can just basically view the patient's data in the sense, just the first name and the last name. The admin can create a patient and can create a doctor. No other functionalities have been provided for the admin.
Coming to the patient as a user, basically the patient is provided with his username and a temporary password by the hospital the first time he visits the hospital. So in this, he has to specify role as the patient as well as his username and his temporary password and login. So upon login, he'll get a message as please change the temporary password immediately. So after clicking on create new password, a window pops up and here he has to provide the password of his choice, and both the temporary password as well as the new password of his choice are basically hashed and stored in the ledger. Once the patient has logged in, now you can see the patient ID 6 details. So basically you can see his personal details like contact number, emergency number, as well as you can see the medical diagnosis that has been done. This page is basically getting displayed with the values retrieved from the patient smart contract. Since he has just gone into the hospital first time and hence there are no medical details of his getting displayed now. The patient as well has the opportunity to basically edit his personal details. So here in his personal details, he can change his address, contact number, as well as emergency contact number. And this while clicking on save, the existing asset in the ledger is being updated with the latest value. As well as the patient has the option to view history. This option is being provided by the Hyperledger Fabric framework, and they have an option of get password API, and this basically provides the details of the patient from his first visit till the latest visit to the hospital. This is a very good feature because it provides the transparency to the patient about his record. Patients also have the functionality of providing the access to the doctors. So by clicking on view doctors, you can see a list of all the doctors from hospital 1 and hospital 2. And by clicking on the grant access, so now we are providing grant access to the doctor 0 of hospital 1. This means that the hospital 1 doctor 0 can view the records of the PID6 patient.
So let's try to log in with the doctor. Select role as a doctor. Hospital 1, hos1 log 0 and the password. And after login, we can see the details of the doctor. There are very few details, first name, last name, and specialty. Now it has also functionality to view the patients. So after clicking on the view patients, we can see the list of patients who gave the access to this patient to this doctor. So similarly, as we have seen the same screen for the admin, we are able to see the patient details, but this time we can see more details of the patients using this view more button. After clicking to this, we can see the details of the patient, but only the medical details. As you can see, there are no personal details like address or phone number. So doctor can change the medical details or prescribe some medicines, and yeah, so add some allergies, some symptoms, some diagnosis. Okay, I think it's a PCR test. Okay, yeah, it's so this patient I think has a COVID-19, diagnosed with COVID-19. Okay. So yeah, 2 weeks I think is a reasonable duration. So yeah, save it. On top of that, doctor can also view the history of the patient. So difference about the history is again the patient doctor can see only the limited fields of the patients. Along with that, the date and the last change by columns are really helpful for the doctor to diagnose and understand the condition of the patient and prescribe proper medication. So let's go back to another patient.
So now we are logging in as a new patient. The patient has been a part of the hospital for a very long time. And as you can see, you now can see the medical details as well. These are his latest medical records. And now going to the view doctor. Now we are going to provide the access to the doctor 0 of hospital 1. And the doctor must be able to view the patient details.
So yeah, we'll log in with the same doctor again and try to see if the list updates or not. Yeah, now we can see the two patients. The patient ID 3 is the latest one. And yes, we can also change some data and view history. Yes. So yeah.
Now we are logging in as patient PID 6, and now we are going to revoke the access of this doctor. Once revoking the access means the doctor 0 of hospital 1 will not be able to see the details of the patient anymore. And now again we'll log in the same doctor.
And bingo, we cannot say the patient ID 6. It's cool feature. That's it for our
Stop
demonstration.
sharing.
Coming to the pros and cons of Hyperledger Fabric. In pros, Fabric architecture basically allows to add plugins for the identity management and consensus algorithm. Companies who have their own identity management can basically easily integrate with the Fabric architecture. The main aim of the companies using the permissioned blockchain is to ensure confidentiality and the security of the data, and this basically can be achieved through MSP. MSP basically issues and validate the certificates as well as ensures the user authentication. The consensus algorithms like proof of work and proof of stake are not used, which in turn means mining is not required, and hence performance is optimized. There might be few transactions which should be only viewed by few participants among a large blockchain network. At that time, creation of a private channel is very useful. Coming to the cons of Hyperledger Fabric, the architecture of Hyperledger Fabric is quite complex and it is not a network fault tolerant, which means that if any one of the component in the network fails, at that time entire blockchain network fails. As of now, Hyperledger Fabric supports LevelDB and CouchDB. In healthcare scenario, there might be cases of where you need to store the MRI reports as well as high resolution images. At that time, LevelDB and CouchDB provides very little support.
Now we will discuss about the issues that we faced during the development of this application. So these are the issues, some of the issues that was existing in Hyperledger Fabric itself. So the first is, as we discussed previously regarding the private data collection, but unfortunately we are not able to implement this because the get history for key, which retrieves the history of a patient. So this API does not work for the private collections as it works for public data. So this is an issue that the community is right now implementing it, and hopefully it would be in the next release so that we have to make a minor code changes to get this working. So the second issue that we face is as of now in Hyperledger, there is three rules. That is the peer, the admin, and the client. So any user who is not an admin is termed as a client, which was not the best scenario for our application. So it would be better if there is a user defined rules. So this is actually it's possible to submit user defined rules, but there are some issues in the configuration in Hyperledger Fabric. So the third issue is related to the second issue. So as we explained, doctor is not an asset. So the doctor name and specialty is being stored as attributes of an identity. But in Hyperledger Fabric, a client is not allowed to read other client's attributes, whereas the admin can read the client attributes. So if suppose we were able to define the user specific roles, we could have given the set of permissions to the patient role. So the patient can read the attributes of a doctor and get to know the doctor's name and specialty.
So we do face some challenges while developing this application. As my colleague already explained the issues in the Fabric, because of that we couldn't able to implement the Fabric private collection mechanism. And another was the re-encryption. And for this, the Node.js is lacking a good re-encryption library. And there are some existing libraries, but they didn't accept the regular formats of the public and private key. Maybe we need to generate our own library using some existing algorithm. The next is we couldn't able to track the public key in the wallet. We have the user's certificate as well as private key, but we didn't find the public key. And the next challenge we faced, that the scaling of the peers. While scaling in the organization, the number of peers, there are some Docker containers which are getting down while starting up the network. That issue is still is in progress. The pull request is still going, is on. And yes. So in the conclusion, we can say that the Hyperledger Fabric is a promising blockchain network which has some components like policies, smart contracts, and it has provision of secure identities. It really helped to enable the EHR systems between the multiple hospitals to make it interoperable, the records. And this is a really good framework for the private and closed blockchain scenarios. So this EHR or medical scenario comes under this private and closed category. This is a really reliable and secure solution in managing the medical data. So here are some future work which we can do to overcome the problems in the solution. So first of all, the overcome the security challenges, which we have already discussed in very detailed manner above. Improve the source code to make the solution more scalable and pluggable. Currently, when scaling the hospitals and peers, there are some places which are done statically, which we can also do it in a more pluggable way. We can maintain the ordering service more powerful using tool Kafka, because when we scaled up the organizations, then we need to handle the transactions in more proper way or in fast manner. We can also update the consortium policies. Currently, the all the peers needs to be accept the all the requests, proposal request. So instead of that, we can make it some manner like 75%. The wallets can be stored in a distributed, and databases can be used. We will use the HTTPS to make the REST calls. We can also integrate the email functionality to use the temporary password. For productionized application, we can deploy all our containers and manage using Kubernetes, which is a best orchestration tool. And here are some references.